Hello students, let me start with the aromatic compounds chapter. And aromatic compounds mainly includes benzene, toluene, halobenzene, right? Especially this is the first part. Then phenols we will study as a separate chapter. Aniline also we will study as a separate chapter. Now let us come to this. So when it comes to benzene, we will see that whatever we're going to study here about benzene and benzenoids as well as their physical and chemical properties. This is the first thing we will learn about. How do we prepare benzene from this? Let us see. First, from alkanes. If we take N-hexane, so you can see I have already written N-hexane here. So N-hexane on reacting with Cr2O3 and Al2O3 mixture. Okay, this is a strong oxide mixture where you have to heat pretty hard, or we can use vanadium pentoxide and heat, or we can also use molybdenum oxide and heat. So in the presence of any of the source, we shall get benzene. So you just have to remember that as a reaction. Okay, so don't worry about the mechanism for this part. Next thing you will see from alkenes. How do we get benzene from alkenes? Now I could take alkenes as simply cycloalkene, or you can see isolated diene or a conjugated diene. And since hydrocycloalkane also gives the similar reaction, I've included there, and any of these is being heated in the presence of selenium and heat, or I could also take this as platinum and heat, it will get converted into benzene. So this is the second reaction where we are getting benzene from alkenes. Third reaction is the preparation from alkynes. So if you want to get it from alkynes, so what we will do, we can use 3 moles of CH triple bond CH. I mean, sorry, 3 moles of alkyne here, which is acetylene, and react that with red hot copper or iron tube. So on doing that, it will turn out to be benzene. In short, here students, it is like this, where you have a linear molecule getting swirled around in the red hot tube, because of which we will have these pi bonds getting connected. It will connect here, this will connect here, and eventually it will become benzene. Or we can take one more reaction here. If I take 4 moles of acetylene here, if I take 4 moles of acetylene in the presence of nickel dicyanide, NiCN twice, and heat it, so this will convert into cyclooctatetraene. Okay, so you would wonder, sir, why we are taking this is not a benzene reaction. Well, along with that, there is side product which is formed as benzene, but this is a very special reaction. So I would suggest remember that this is in chord shape, or what we call it as cyclooctatetraene, not chord shape, sorry, tub shape. So this is how the shape would be. And although it appears like it has an alternate pi bonds, 4 pi bonds, it is not anti-aromatic, rather this is non-aromatic because of its non-planar shape. So non-aromatic compound which is cyclooctatetraene. So I hope all of you got an idea, like from alkenes and alkynes, how do we get benzene, or in that case, last case, a special reaction. Next we will see it from phenols. So from phenols, if we use phenol and directly treat with zinc and heat, it would straight away get reduced to benzene, and zinc will take away that oxygen and it becomes ZNO. Okay. Next, halobenzenes, which means whether you take chlorine, bromine, iodine, if we treat that with magnesium and ether, so first we would have Grignard's reagent forming here. So we will have this as MgX with plus, right? And here plus and minus here. So this is what we will have, Grignard's reagent. So if we have chlorine here, so they will get this as magnesium chloride. And once you get this and hydrolyze this with any polar protic solvent, where there is a sufficient polarized hydrogen. So this hydrogen is polarized. It's not necessary we take only water. We can take alcohol, we can take acids, amine, ammonia. So even if you react with them, acetylene, any of that, which can give sufficiently polarized hydrogen, will definitely convert this into benzene. Yeah, here we'll get H. Clear, students? This is the next preparation reaction. The sixth preparation reaction is from carboxylic acids. So from carboxylic acids, if we take sodium salt of carboxylate ion, sodium salt of carboxylate ion, so then we can say in the presence of NaOH and CaO, this will turn out to be first a carb anion, which will take H plus from water, which is being dried by calcium oxide, and thereby finally it will form benzene. And this is called soda lime decarboxylation reaction, SLDC. We have studied this before in alkanes. So these are the this is the way to prepare benzene from carboxylic acids or its derivatives. Next, you can see preparation from benzaldehyde. Benzaldehyde would also give the benzene form. Here what we need to do is, first we used to use a mild oxidizing agent to convert that into an acid first, and then treat that with NaOH and CaO and heat it, so that again the same step SLDC can be taken place here to convert that to benzene, right? So this is also done by SLDC. The mild oxidizing agents which I'm referring to, correct, could be aqueous KMnO4. We can use that, right? Well, it is not mild, but it will definitely help aldehydes to convert into acids. We can take K2Cr2O7 in the presence of H plus. Fine. Next, see the reaction with cyanobenzene. What would happen here? Cyanobenzene on hydrolysis will always give you acids. Whether you can do hydrolysis, not we can do hydrolysis in acidic medium, or even we can perform the same in basic medium. It doesn't matter. In both the cases, we will get acid, and then we will react with NaOH, CaO and heat. We would get that as benzene. That is SLDC reaction. Yeah. So that is about cyanobenzene. Finally, from aniline. If we take aniline, what is the reaction that happens? How do we get benzene? Okay. Aniline need to be first used with HNO3. Got it? Well, HNO3 is prepared by taking NaNO2 plus HCl, right? That's how we'll get nitrous acid, HNO3. HNO2 nitrous acid is unstable and it would form NO plus as the electrophile, which combines here to form N2 plus Cl minus. This is called benzene diazonium chloride, benzene diazonium chloride, BDC. Very useful reagent for making lot of compounds. Once you get benzene diazonium chloride, got it, we can use H3PO2, or we can use ethanol to convert this diazonium salt into benzene here. And if it is H3PO2, it will convert to H3PO3, and ethanol will convert into aldehyde. Correct? So these are the products which you can expect. Eventually, you'll get the benzene form. So these are the first 9 reactions where we have seen it is formation of benzene. Got it? The next reaction where we will see the preparation is from benzene sulfonic acid, or we can take nitrobenzene. We can take many other cases by which we can prepare benzene. But before going into that, we will be coming across this mechanism a lot of times, how the reaction happens with nitrous acid. So I would just like to showcase the mechanism, like what steps were involved in making this nitrous acid and how that is going to act like a nucleophile, electrophile here. Okay. So the basic idea is, if you take any primary amine, Now, in this case, I'm taking aniline as this primary amine and treat that with HNO2 presence. We shall get diazonium salt N2 plus and Cl minus. Now, let us see how exactly this is formed. Here, what's happening is first NaNO2 sodium nitrite is being treated with HCl. So this will give us an acid HNO2 plus NaCl, and we are taking sufficient amount here. So HCl is quite sufficient amount here, and HNO2, if you see the structure wise, it is N double bond O, OH here, correct? And we have HCl still in the solution, which makes this lone pair to get attracted with this proton, and it would start forming an OH2 plus and Cl minus. And because of which you can see the lone pair on this oxygen can push electrons so that this H2O can be removed. So I will have N triple bond O plus. So this is the electrophile which is formed. So the reaction starts with these electrophile, students. So we will have aniline NH2, which has a lone pair on it, will start reacting with this electrophile, which has positive charge on this. Sorry, this positive charge is on oxygen here, right? And nitrogen has this lone pair. So oxygen will try to take away its electrons. So that's when nitrogen will get that positive charge. So lone pair will attack on nitrogen. Thereby, we will have the structure NH with N double bond O with nitrogen getting positive charge. Internally, this oxygen can take away the proton from here, which we normally call that as intramolecular proton transfer. Anything which happens internally to take away that H plus, that is intramolecular proton transfer. And we will have NH with N double bond OH plus. And again, lone pair has been arrived on oxygen, nitrogen, which will try to make a double bond with nitrogen, and this bond will shift towards oxygen. So we can see that we will have NH, again a double bond N with OH. Nitrogen again is getting positive charge. One more step of intramolecular proton transfer, where this oxygen will take away this H plus. Thereby we will have benzene with N double bond N with OH2 plus. And students, this is a good leaving group. OH2 is a good leaving group. So I can say OH2 will leave from here comfortably when nitrogen supports electrons to the next nitrogen. Thereby we will get this as N triple bond N plus H2O. And since the solution has Cl minus, we can actually precipitate them as salt, which is N2 plus and Cl minus. And that's what we call it as benzene diazonium chloride salt. That's how we will get benzene diazonium chloride salts. See, normally alkyl diazonium salts are highly unstable, but aromatic diazonium salts will be stable when they are maintained at less than 5 degrees centigrade. If they are maintained, this diazonium salt will be stable. Clear? So I hope you got a gist of this mechanism, like what exactly is happening. And once you get the benzene diazonium salt, there are a lot of reactions. One reaction which we used is to prepare the benzene out of it. Clear, students? So I hope all of you got that idea now. Now, coming to the next reaction, here you can see nitrobenzene can also be used to convert into benzene form. What we can do here is that nitrobenzene will, in the presence of SnHCl, will first convert into NH2, that is aniline form. Got it? And once you get aniline, you treat that with HNO2, which will convert into diazonium chloride salt N2 plus and Cl minus, which on further using with H3PO2, we shall get benzene. Right, students? Right, so this we have seen. So here, to convert this NO2 to NH2, if you observe the oxidation state of this nitrogen here, this is as if, losing out 4 electrons to oxygen and gaining 1 from carbon, which makes it +3 oxidation state, while here it is gaining all the electrons, which is -3. So you could observe that from +3 to -3, nitrogen has to change its oxidation state, which implies it requires 6 electrons. So here electrons go as nascent hydrogens. Clear? So there are 6 nascent hydrogens that tin and HCl has to produce, and those 6 nascent hydrogens will eventually make this as aniline. Right, students? So I hope all of you got an idea like what is going on there. Next reaction for preparation of benzene, if you observe, that is benzene sulfonic acid. You can see benzene sulfonic acid. Benzene sulfonic acid, that is benzene with SO3H, on treatment with dilute HCl, dilute H2SO4, H plus and steam. In any of the cases, we will see this will turn into benzene, got it, plus H2SO4 will come out, got it. Now this is quite a reverse reaction as well, students, because if benzene is being treated with H2SO4 concentrated, then the reaction will go backwards, and that is called sulfonation. Okay, that is one of the reactions we will study about benzene. But if you have sulfonate already, benzene sulfonic acid already, we can convert that into benzene by treating in with dilute acids or hydrolysis by heating. Clear? So well, students, these are the preparation reactions so far. And now let us understand what is the important pointers about benzene. First of all, benzene or any form which is like benzene are called benzenoids. They have very weak pi electron cloud, which means their pi electrons are not available for reaction because they are in aromatic nature. Their pi electron cloud is usually not available. Okay, that is because of its high resonance energy and aromatic nature. So which means this pi electron cloud is not enough to attract electrophile towards it and show the electrophilic addition similar to alkenes. If you see for alkenes, that was their characteristic reactions, that is electrophilic addition. But for benzene, electrophilic addition is not a characteristic reaction. So benzene and benzenoid does not show these electrophilic addition reactions to us, which means when we treated alkenes with Bayer's reagent or bromine water, we saw they get decolorized, right? And that is a characteristic way of finding out whether there is a presence of alkene or alkynes. Usually alkenes or alkynes, unsaturation can be identified. But when it comes to benzene or benzenoid forms, we cannot make that reaction happen. Hence, we say benzene is more or less like saturated for these reactions. Clear? So there is no electrophilic addition that takes place here. Well, in that case, what does benzene is more ready for which type of reactions? Well, benzene or benzenoids show these type of reactions. The first one being electrophilic substitution. Instead of getting addition, now they can undergo electrophilic substitution. Next, nucleophilic substitution. They will undergo nucleophilic substitution also. And there are few radical reactions, and here and there is 1 or 2 addition reactions as well. We will first start with electrophilic aromatic substitution. This is the most important reaction kind. Okay. Now, since we learned that pi cloud is very weak to attract electrophile, hence we require a strong Lewis acid in the presence of electrophilic aromatic substitution reaction to happen. Overall reaction, what is happening? Let me show the overall reaction first so that you get an idea like what is going on through this reaction. So if you see the overall reaction idea here is that benzene, when you treat with electrophile, and nucleophile present here. So overall reaction is that there is an electrophile which is getting substituted and hydrogen is leaving away with nucleophile. All right. This is the overall reaction. And let us see what are the steps that are involved here. The first step is that benzene will try to attract the electrophile here. Got it? So benzene will try to attract the electrophile here. Got it? And it gets added up here. Got it? The minute it gets added up, it is losing out its aromatic nature. And since it is losing out its aromatic nature, this reaction is going to be very slow. Dear students, it is going to be very slow reaction. And this positive charge which is forming can undergo resonance. You can clearly observe that this pi can shift here. So positive charge can come here. This pi can shift here. Positive charge can come here. So I can create these three resonating structures. And if I write the hybrid of the same, it is like this. So from here to here, the positive charge is moving for this electrophile, right, students? And this type of a complex which is forming, this is called Weyland complex, Weyland complex, or it is also known as Arrhenium complex, Arrhenium complex. So in short, students, the step one is a very important step because this is the rate determining step. So if by any means we are able to stabilize the valent complexes or arrhenium complexes, the reaction will go pretty good. If they are not stable, the reaction may not take place. Okay. Second step, that is the first step. Second step is once you get this valent complex, you can see from one of the resonating structure, I can show that the base present can extract the proton, and as soon as it extracts the proton, the negative charge comes on carbon, which will try to retain back its aromaticity. And since it is retaining back its aromaticity, this step is going to happen faster. So the product that is going to form here will be benzene with this electrophile getting substituted. I hope that is clear to everyone. So this plus H and B base or nucleophile, whatever you can call nucleophile or a base which is getting connected to this, right? So there are two major steps which are involved here is the attack of benzene on the electrophile, which is the rate determining step. Second thing, base extracting proton by which aromaticity is retained. And the first step generally is always going to be rate determining step. Okay, students, let us see the graph here. So graph gives a lot of understanding about how the electrophilic aromatic substitution is happening. Now, from here I can say that the first step will have high activation energy. So you can see this will have high activation energy here, while the second step usually is always smaller. The first step, from here to here, there is an arrhenium complex which is forming. And from the arrhenium complex, finally, we are getting the product, which is electrophilic substituted benzene. Now, students, the rate of electrophilic aromatic substitution depends upon what factor? First thing, it will depends upon the stability of the sigma complex. Stability of this sigma complex. Well, the sigma complex, I can also call it as arrhenium complex, or we can call it as valent complex. Next, the rate of the reaction depends upon the slow step, and in the slow step, we have the reactant as well as the electrophile. So hence, the rate of the reaction will be some constant into substrate. In this case, it is benzene. So benzene concentration multiplied by electrophile concentration. Correct? And both would be power 1 and power 1 here. Correct? Next, if you look at the order of the reaction here, so if you look at the order of the reaction, what we can say, this is power 1 and this is power 1. So order of the reaction is 2. And in the slow step, there are two reactants being used. So hence that is the molecularity of the reaction as well. Clear? So I hope you got an idea like what is happening to the rate of the reaction, rate of EAS, what is the rate, how is the order to be written, what is the molecularity. Clear, students? Right. So like I said, generally when it comes to electrophilic aromatic substitution, it does not show kinetic isotopic effect as H is involved in the first step. Now, usually whenever we use the word kinetic isotopic effect, we are expecting that hydrogen is being removed in the slow step. But here hydrogen is removed in the fast step, which means it is a secondary isotopic effect. So the rate of the reaction, whether you put hydrogen, deuterium or tritium, right? Wherever there are hydrogens, if you replace them with deuterium or tritium, it does not make a lot of difference in the rate. So rate of electrophilic aromatic substitution will be same even if you take benzene with all protiums, or benzene with all deuteriums, or benzene with all tritiums on it. So rate of ES does not change much. Okay, and this pretty much follows for nitration, alkylation, clear, halogenation, if you make an halogenation reaction, and many other reactions. For most of the reactions, this is the rate which follows. But in case if we have iodination and sulfonation done, then the second step will become the rate determining step. So second step will become the rate determining step. So therefore, that will start showing kinetic isotopic effect. Okay. So rate of the reaction, if it is iodination or sulfonation, then we will see distinct rates. That is, C6H6 will have stronger rate compared to C6D6 or C6T6. But if it is nitration, alkylation, the rate will be almost the same. So make sure you understand this. This is a pretty simple objective question that will come where we need to figure out what happens to rate of reaction. Clear, students? So you can see the reason here. The first reaction which is happening, although it is losing the aromaticity, it has sufficient activation energy, but the second reaction is pretty much higher here. Reason being, I minus, to remove this I minus, to remove the proton by I minus or HSO4 minus, they are pretty weak bases. Because they are very weak bases, it is difficult for extracting the proton from this benzene. So therefore, these reactions, whether you take it from iodination or sulfonation, it's very difficult to remove the protons. So it takes a lot of time to retain back that aromaticity. So this is the RDS of the reaction, or the slow step of the reaction. And students, this is only seen in iodination and sulfonation. So remember only these two cases where you will have second step having RDS as compared to that of first step. Okay, students? Now, let us see what are the reactions of benzene, and in which the most important type of reactions are electrophilic aromatic substitution reactions. So first of a kind is halogenation, where benzene is getting halogen on it. Okay. To get the halogen form, I'll take chlorine, bromine, which are mostly the cases which give perfect halogenation. We need a Lewis acid like AlCl3, FeCl3, or FeSnCl2. We can take CdCl2. We can take many different Lewis acids, ZnCl2. And all of these Lewis acid are going to generate the electrophilic character on halogens. Now you see how it is. This halogen has no charge initially, and the minute they start interacting with AlCl3, because AlCl3 has an empty orbital, so the lone pair on this halide will start being more pushed towards AlCl3, and because of which it will start trying to pull the electrons from the next halogen present, and because of which we would see that this X gets polarized, sufficiently polarized, which means this benzene will now be able to attack that X as the electrophile, and as it attacks, which is the RDS of the reaction, from here the halogen will leave with AlCl3, and we will get this as AlCl3 X minus, and benzene will get this halogen substituted. Okay, and AlCl3 X minus is unstable, so AlCl3 will come out with X minus here, and this X minus acts like a base, extract the proton, which will try to retain the aromaticity in the last step. And like I said, most of the cases it is the fast step, and the second step which I have written is the slow step. Clear, students? So honestly, it is only 2 steps, but mainly we have written these 4 steps to understand how the electrophile is actually generated, and finally how the benzene retains back its aromaticity. So that's how you will get the halobenzene eventually. So first thing you need to figure out is there is a requirement of Lewis acids here. Okay. In the case of iodine, if you take out the case of iodine, the problem here is the first case here. When you react that with iodine, the iodine might get substituted, but iodine, carbon iodine bond is very weak. So this will try to retain back its aromaticity by going backward direction. But by somehow, if you are able to pull this reaction happen by I minus extracting that proton, and it is getting the benzene back, I mean aromatic nature back with iodine on it. So we are actually producing HI, correct? And HI is also very unstable species, so it will again push back here to get back that I2. So what we have to do, in case if I want to increase the production of this iodobenzene, by some means, if I can oxidize this HI, HI, and I can oxidize that to I2, this will definitely help that to reaction to undergo forward direction. So we need some oxidizing agents here. So oxidizing agents like HiO3, HgO, HNO3, they would be pretty helpful for converting this HI into I2. And according to Le Chatelier's principle, if you recall, I'm removing the product here and adding the reactant here. So that is definitely a push for reaction to happen in the forward direction. Right, students? That's how we can increase the amount of iodobenzene. Okay. Here, kinetic isotopic effect is observed. We know that iodination always kinetic energy, kinetic isotopic effect is observed. So this is what would happen. C6H6 will be greater than C6D6 and C6D6. See, direct iodination can also be done in case if we use this interhalogens. Instead of I2 and some Lewis acid, if we use, we can use this interhalogens in the presence of this Lewis acid and make an electrophilic aromatic substitution. See how we can do that. It is like this. Benzene, if we take that ICl in the presence of AlCl3, here we can know that I plus is created, which will get an iodo benzene here, and AlCl3 plus HCl will be formed. And here you will not see no kinetic isotopic effect observed. So here we will not see, because I minus is not the base which is trying to extract the proton, it is the Cl minus, and Cl minus can sufficiently remove the H plus from the arenum complex, trying to retain back the benzene here. Clear, students? Next, if we take X2 in the presence of water or HOX, that can also be used to make halogenation done on benzene rings. Okay, which means if you take benzene ring, okay, I mean if you take benzene and treat that with HOX, and if you recall in HOX, X will have sufficient delta positive charge, so benzene can attack on it, and this OH minus can relieve, and from there we can get this as X, and that will become H2O. I have directly written that EAS is happening here, by which we can get halobenzene form. This is also an electrophilic aromatic substitution by which we are able to figure out how the halobenzene is formed. Clear, students? So I hope you got an idea like what is happening through these reactions. Okay. And next, if you see nitration reaction, the first reaction what we learned is about halogenation, and second reaction, it is not third, I'll write it as second one, which is nitration. So in nitration, what we are doing, we are taking benzene, treating that with concentrated HNO3 or concentrated in the concentrated HNO3 taken in concentrated H2SO4. This is called nitrating mixture. The idea here is it will produce NO2 plus. Okay. So nitrating agents which creates NO2 plus as a electrophile or concentrated HNO3 in concentrated H2SO4, that is the one. Or I can take concentrated HNO3 in HbF4, N2O5 plus HbF4, N2O5 plus NaBF4 and water, or N2O5 in acetone. Okay, sorry, this is anhydride, or NO2 plus and BF4 minus. Any of these are nitrating agents, which means they will give an electrophile NO2 plus. So in which the most commonly used is this one, concentrated HNO3 in the presence of concentrated H2SO4. Now let us see how that is being used here. So first, if you take out this nitric acid reacting with H2SO4, correct? You can imagine it this way, like this is acting like a base, HNO3 is acting like a base, and H2SO4 is acting like an acid. So which means this will release this H plus, this will lone pair on OH will accept the H plus, we will get this as OH2 plus here, and H2SO4 will change as HSO4 minus. This would react with one more second mole of H2SO4 to create H3O plus, and NO2 plus will come out of it, because from here you can see this bond will break, NO2 plus will come, and HSO4 will remain. So if you write the overall reaction, 1 mole of HNO3 reacts with 2 moles of H2SO4 to form 1 mole of H3O plus, 1 mole of NO2 plus, and 2 moles of HSO4 minus. So here we got NO2 plus generated. So once you get NO2 plus, so directly I can write down that benzene in the presence of concentrated HNO3 and concentrated H2SO4, we have sufficiently generated NO2 plus by which substitution can take place. So NO2, which is nitrobenzene, is formed in this case. Clear, students? What was the role of concentrated H2SO4 here? So if you observe the role of concentrated H2SO4, nitration is a slow process in the absence of H2SO4. So if we put H2SO4, this becomes faster, we can get richer NO2 plus concentration. Next, H2SO4 has no effect on benzene directly in the presence of HNO3. And in fact, that is under normal conditions. So H2SO4 behaves like an acid and HNO3 behaves like a base. And there is no kinetic isotopic effect observed here. That is a special point. That is not a point of concentrated H2SO4. Clear? So these are the main pointers you need to remember about the reaction nitration happening on benzene. Next reaction is sulfonation. In sulfonation, you will observe the benzene in the presence of concentrated H2SO4 will give you SO3H, which we call it as benzene sulfonic acid. Here sulfonic agents could be fuming H2SO4 directly, which means bubbling out, continuously bubbling out H2SO4. H2SO4 is highly unstable if you take concentrated, so that is called the fuming H2SO4. If we can take oleum mixture also, which means it is H2SO4 concentrated mixed with excess amount of SO3, or we can take concentrated H2SO4 with concentrated HClO4. In all of this case, we are expecting that it will generate an electrophile SO3. So the electrophile which is generated here is SO3. So SO3 is an electrophile here, students, and we have learned one thing, that sulfonation also exhibit kinetic isotopic effect. Let us just shoot through the mechanism once. H2SO4 will change as H plus and HSO4 minus because it is a strong acid. And this HSO4 minus, if you treat that with the next mole of H2SO4, here this can become H2O plus. So here you can see this can remove and we will get HSO4 minus. Basically, this is how it is happening. This will become SO3 and H2O will remove on heating. On heating, we will get that as SO3, got it? And once you get that, once we get this as SO3 here, that is the actual electrophile here. So this electrophile is what is going to act on benzene and become sulfonation. Got it? So H2SO4 is acting as both acid and base here. Okay, because that itself is giving H plus, and the next mole is taking away that H plus. So SO3 is a neutral but a good nucleophile due to its +6 oxidation state. Hence, what we can see overall reaction here is that benzene plus concentrated H2SO4, right, and slightly heating that would definitely help to form first SO3, correct? SO3H. So how we are getting SO3H? Look at the mechanism step once. So first we will have SO3 present here, S double bond O, double bond O, double bond O here. So this will attack, benzene would attack as the pi bond will attack on it. So we will get this as SO3 minus, because as soon as this attacks, the oxygen will take away electrons. So we would have a positive charge here, H here. So within the molecule, you can see SO3 here, H plus can be taken out, or we can think about base like HSO4 minus is facilitating to remove this H plus. In either ways, this is a slow process, and slowly it will start retaining the aromaticity here, and that H will be appearing on SO3 minus. That's how the sulfonation will take place, students. Okay, so I hope you got a idea about how the sulfonation is taking place. Okay, so this session we will stop it here. So in the next session, I will discuss about one very important reaction, which is Friedel-Crafts reactions. Okay, students.